That will help later.
Yes.
So what's up? This is the 4th podcast that I've ever done, so welcome.
All right.
My guest today is Alexander VonArb. Am I saying that right?
Sure.
Is that how you
good
say
enough.
it?
It's good
if
enough.
Would I sound like a Swiss guy if I was?
No, in Swiss it would be VonArb.
VonArb. Okay.
Yeah, but
Right.
it's good enough.
So I thought we'd start out by just telling everybody where you're from. I mean, not everybody knows you from the super famous show GasolineVibes. I know, that's for sure.
Our show, eh?
But I mean,
Yeah.
we both here live in Finland, so I mean, we
Yeah,
actually
fortunately
live
we
down the
do.
street
Yeah.
from each other.
Neighbors.
Yeah.
Neighbors. Yeah.
Kids play soccer together. So.
That's right.
Or football, as I said in Europe. Sorry. If I offend the Europeans. My fault.
Yeah, we play football here.
Yeah, but I thought maybe just tell us about where you're from and
Well, originally from Switzerland.
what city are you from?
Zurich, yeah. Born and
Okay.
raised in Zurich, yes.
And so you lived there how long?
Till I was about 16.
Okay. What was it like growing up there?
Yeah, well, I was growing up outside of the city in the suburbs.
Okay.
So
Is Zurich a big city? How many people live in Zurich?
it's about 1 million, I
Okay,
think.
so it's quite big, like Helsinki almost.
Yeah. Switzerland is 7.5 million, I believe
Okay,
now.
so-
So
In between Sweden and Finland.
something like that. Yeah. So yeah, it was a good city to grow up in.
Yeah, and
like-
I didn't even know they speak Swiss German, which is like a
Yeah.
different dialect of,
Now we
of
speak
German.
Zürichdeutsch, which
Okay.
is the Zurich dialect. We're a little bit faster.
But if you go to Germany, you can understand everybody.
Yeah, we understand everybody, but they don't understand us
Okay.
necessarily.
That's
Yeah.
good. Maybe.
That's very good. Yeah, so I can trash talk everybody.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's true.
So you must be a pretty good skier if you.
Yeah. I mean, it's you're born with your ski on your feet.
I
right?
bet. I mean, it's pretty amazing because, like in Finland here, you know, the kids just immediately know how to ice skate, which you know I didn't learn until I was probably like 14. It was
Yeah, and
terrible.
I've seen you
Terrible.
skate. I've seen you skate.
Yeah, it still hasn't
It's,
improved any.
I think I'm having nightmares still.
Yeah, I mean, I do make it a point that I try to get out there every year and try to skate at least, but it doesn't seem to help any. Especially, I look more and more awkward. People think that I'm specially challenged out there. I think.
Well, which you are.
Yeah, that's true. There is a certain part of that.
Yeah, you're a special kid.
Yeah.
But now that we have the ice rink right in front of the door, so you should be going.
Yeah, and I mean
a lot
now
more
we have a
often.
refrigerated one, so I
Yeah.
mean that's pretty special.
You call it refrigerated.
Well, I mean, it stays frozen when
It
it's
stays frozen.
above frozen.
Yes, it's a
So,
refrigerator.
Yeah.
We bring our beers there and keep them cold.
yeah, I
right.
usually take coffee because it's just way too cold.
Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty privileged to have the ice rink right in front of our door.
Yeah,
so
but
that's
hockey
nice.
is huge in Switzerland, or
Not as big as here.
No, okay.
Because we don't get so cold winters in Zurich necessarily.
Really?
That
Okay.
the lakes, when I was young, I've seen them frozen like once.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So and here it's like.
So I
is-
guess you
this
gotta
is
go
the
to the
first
mountains.
year it didn't freeze in Finland. you
This
know?
is the worst winter
So,
I've ever experienced.
fake
in
news.
Finland.
Fake news, huh?
Yeah, if
all
anybody out
fake
there
news.
thinks that it's all snow here, it was the worst.
Yes, and when you think about it, Finland is the northern tip of Quebec, so it's like when the U.S. is here, Finland is sitting like on top
like
of
upward.
here. Yeah.
More the Canada
So
region. Yeah.
So we should automatically have snow every year,
Yeah.
or something is wrong.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely not good. I mean, even up
Yeah.
north, they didn't really have so much snow as much as I would have thought.
Yeah, it was a sucky winter. The only advantage was I didn't need to snow shovel once, not once.
That's good, but there was no fun driving. There was just
No.
we had all kinds of plans actually for GasolineVibes. We were going to
Sure.
do like some ice racing on one of on the lakes, because that's like
That's cool.
I mean,
cool.
that's something that like
Yeah.
people probably can't get their head
Yeah.
over. You know, I mean, it's like you're on a lake driving a car. That's
Yeah.
pretty, I think, crazy. But
Yeah, and like they do all kinds of crazy shit on the lakes. They, for example, do big like they cut big holes in the lake. For example,
yeah.
take a motor and then make like a merry-go-round.
Oh yeah, I've
you
seen
know?
that before.
So what was it? 2 years ago, they made the world record of like cutting a piece that was like over 100 meters in diameter.
We'll
It
put
was just going around.
a pop-up in there so they can see it. But
that was cool.
that's got to be insane. I saw that. I would have never even.
Yeah, no, me neither. It was crazy. It was crazy, but I liked it. Yeah, but going back to Switzerland and Zurich, of course, like growing up was different than here. You know, the winter's not so cold. Very sheltered life. I mean, safe country and.
But is Switzerland? I mean, relatively safe. I mean.
Yeah. Biggest crime is like, I don't know. Good question.
Yeah, and I only know from listening to one podcast on JRE, they were talking about Switzerland has like almost all drugs are legal there.
Well, when I grew up, actually, there was big drugs problems. They had the Plotschbitz. So the Plotschbitz is like, there is a national museum in the city center, and next to it is a park. And when you drove by in the nighttime, the lights were on. And there was like hundreds of lights. So everybody's doing heroin and stuff like that. So
I heard there was a bad heroin problem.
It was really bad. Yeah. Probably one of the worst in one place. And then they started to kind of put the people outside and try to disperse it, but they always came back. So then they didn't try to legalize it, but they tried to make these centers and they tried to bring alternative drugs that was obviously not heroin.
Yeah, and like at least clean stuff so that people that are doing
it doesn't make a difference. People, you know.
Oh, really? Because they were saying how much it was.
Oh, of course, it helped a lot.
Yeah.
It helped a lot. It helped a lot because it was controlled and those people were getting it for free and they were getting clean needles and everything.
Yeah.
So,
but I heard there was like a record number of people that actually quit doing heroin too, compared to like places in the U.S. or places like that have really bad.
I mean, European drug policy is quite liberal because, like, also, I think, for example, in the Netherlands too, when they started. Legalizing stuff, crime goes down.
Yeah.
So it's the same in Switzerland. Of course, there's still like other kind of drugs coming up, a lot more party drugs, cocaine and stuff like that. I mean, when you live in Finland, it's alcohol.
Non-existent.
It's
here.
alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol really is the biggest problem I think that they have here.
Yeah, that's.
And I mean, the
totally
young kids
problem.
started too. I mean, it's so funny because. Like for me, I thought that the rest of the world was exactly like U.S. I mean, like we're one of the oldest. You have to be 21 to even drink, which is like there's not many places in the world that do that. And it was always surprising because when we would fly here, and my two older kids were over 18, they loved it because as soon as you hit international waters, you could drink and order a drink on the plane, and it was like unheard of.
And when I was young, I mean, my grandma, she sent me to the corner store. I was 8 years old. I still remember. She says, "Get me a carton of cigarettes." I was like, "What? A carton? Yeah, carton. Yeah. Say you get a carton." It's like, okay.
It's probably like $4.
I have I was like $20 or $25. Can I get a carton? And then I got it. I walked home. I was so proud, and I was like 8 years old, and
nobody said anything.
Nobody said anything. I used to buy like vodkas and stuff like that for my grandma too. It was very rarely, but still, nobody asked questions. And then it started getting more control with cigarettes and stuff when I was like older.
Yeah. I can still remember people smoking on planes. I mean,
I was smoking on planes. I started smoking 12 years old. And
I think I tried when I was 11.
So I still remember because I was like, I thought, okay, if I get now Marlboros, they're gonna ask me for sure, hey, do you have an ID? So I was like, could I get a pack of Galois?
Is that like the
because it's the most expensive one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So sure, I guess the guy knows what he wants. So they gave me a pack. I was so young, but yeah.
Oh,
that was something. The world was so different then.
It was. I mean, it just makes me sound old because I think that all the generations say this, but I mean, it is. I heard the quote the other day. They were talking about. I think that our generation is probably one of the most lucky because we actually live without technology, without smartphones and everything, and we've lived with it. So sure. I think we have kind of a little bit of both of that world. I think we're kind of special in that.
Well, you're definitely special, Stephen.
I know.
Yeah, but when I was young and you like try to hook up with your friends, you made like you rung one buddy and he's like, hey, are you gonna ring the next one? Okay, when are we gonna meet? Okay, 4:30 there and there. And then you just hung up the phone and you were like, okay, is it now the right place?
No
where's everybody else? Did I get the time right? What's wrong? How long should I wait? Oh, okay, there's one guy coming, so okay. And you just waited.
I remember talking with like you're calling for your friends too. You have to call their house. Hey, Mrs. So-and-so, is Johnny there? Can he come out?
Yeah, and the phones were so funny. It was still like,
yeah, my grandmother had one of those. And then you screw up. Fuck, I have to do it again.
Yeah. Those were times.
But I still remember, like every kid has that a second sense, where they can hear their mother screaming out the door, like, Steven, get in here for that. Oh man, I gotta go, guys.
Yeah, that was different.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have that anymore.
Nowadays, nobody screams anymore. Right?
You don't hear anything. No, I do. I think true. I'm the only one that screams out because I don't let the kids go out.
Especially here in Finland, it's like, hey, psh, don't scream. The neighbors can hear you.
Yeah, well, then you throw your kids outside with their phones. They're not going to do nothing but sit on the swing and just look at the phone. Yeah. So we don't even give them the phones. We're kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I remember the first first phones that came. They were like huge.
Oh, my dad had one.
My God, there was like,
the first bag phone. Yeah. My dad had one of those for a sales job. That was unheard of.
In a bag, right?
Must have been 86, something like that, and that was state-of-the-art, cutting-edge technology. Yeah. And I remember that, like, I was so confused when he picked it up inside the house and then dialed the house phone, and the house phone dialed. It was like, what? And then I picked up the phone, of course, and he yelled because I think it was about $1.75 a minute. So, but I mean, yeah, that was insane. Be able to make a call while you're driving down the road. Mm. I kind of miss those days, dude. It's nice. Have you ever left? Have you ever went to work without your phone, like you forgot it completely, had to work the whole day without it? It's almost annoying during the beginning of the day, but then by the end of the day, you're like so peaceful. You're just riding the car home, just music, nobody to mess with you.
Yeah, I usually try to forget the phone when I go to the mökki and just,
Well, it barely works there anyway. I've been there. That's a beautiful place you got out there.
Yeah,
I mean, it really is.
Yeah, right on the lake.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like what like my American friends don't understand. And I mean, a lot of Finnish people don't even go in the ice water and go to sauna and then that water is, I can only guess in Fahrenheit, must be 34 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. It's +4.
Yeah, it's cold. Yeah,
it's cold.
Was it 2 weeks ago? It was just 6.
Yeah.
So, it's cold.
Yeah, and it's absolutely nice. Everybody thinks it's crazy, but it is absolute murder when you're leaving the sauna and you're walking down to the water. I mean, it's not far, but on the way down there, your feet are hurting. You're like, what am I doing? And then by the time you get to the dock and you start going down the ladder in the water, you're like, I'm out of my fucking mind. But then as soon as you get out, man, that's beautiful. That's where the gold is.
Yeah, it's true. And the trick is that, well, at least for me, the trick is that as you're walking down to the hole, you're going to walk through snow and you don't want to get your feet cold because that actually hurts more than going into
it. It does.
It really does. So I always have slippers.
Yeah, that's
take
what you
them off, go in, and then going back is no problem because when you have been in the water, then you're good.
Yeah.
And then the second time is easy. So.
Yeah, and even the Crocs don't really help. You need some good slippers or something.
I use the IKEA slippers. They're really cheap.
Yeah, that's all you need. So you're in Switzerland. So I mean, did you go to? You went all the way through middle school. Did you finish high school in
No,
Switzerland?
I didn't.
Okay.
No, I
And you have one brother?
Yeah, I have one
Okay.
brother.
Younger, right?
Yeah, he's 2 years younger, but he's a little taller and bigger than me. So
Okay.
yeah. So he's not little brother. He's like it's just
Yeah, but I mean younger anyway. So, yeah.
younger brother. Yeah, true. And we fought a lot when we were young, but that's normal.
Yeah, that's normal. Siblings.
Well, he became a ballet dancer,
Yeah.
So
And he's like a professional.
he was a professional, and he was also a figure skater. So
Okay.
he went figure skating. My mom was figure skating too. So I went to hockey side.
Yeah.
So I started playing hockey. So, but there was always mutual respect between us because what he does. I mean, my mom had a ballet studio. I think she's going now soon. I don't know, 45 plus years.
Yeah.
The studio is open, and what these dancers do, it's hard.
Yeah, well, that's definitely, man. I mean,
Yeah, so I definitely
you have to be
respect.
really in
you have to
shape
be in
for
good
that.
shape, and you're basically ruining in your body.
Oh
for
yeah, I
your
can
whole
imagine.
life. And you get in your position, where you twist your feet. You kind of you have machines where you stick your foot in to bend it.
Really?
Yeah, really. You stick your foot in, you
Sounds-
bend it. You basically bend the bone. Like you just do that every day.
And you just send your kids to do that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, but yeah.
And then so you don't finish high school there. You go.
No, I didn't. I've in Switzerland we have this system that you do to grade 6, and then you have, I don't know if it has changed now. So you have 3 different levels of school. You have you have even a 4th one. So you have Real, Sekundar, and then Gimme. So which means like that.
Is it elementary school?
No, it's just a level. So it's according to your grades. You can actually not with the lowest 2 ones. Well, you don't get to university basically anymore.
Okay.
So it's not as easy.
Yeah, then you're gonna go to like trade school or something.
Like think about this: after grade 6, you're already like put in. You're gonna be working class, or you're gonna be like a doctor, or you can be a doctor. So it's a very discriminatory system, in my opinion, because at that time when you're that young,
who the
you
fuck
don't know
knows
what
you're
you
gonna
do.
I'm not even sure I know at 45 what I want to
Exactly.
do.
So for me, I have to say, going to Canada with 16 in that sense was the best, because in Switzerland I would have never ever gone to university.
Yeah.
Because
So you went to Canada. You're how old?
I was 16, yeah.
Okay.
16, 17.
And you went there completely by yourself. It's kind of like, I guess, foreign
Yeah.
exchange that we would
Yeah,
have.
I went boarding school.
Okay.
So yeah, I was just there. We have relatives on my father's grandmother's side that basically moved to Canada in the 80s. Was the Big Depression or something like that? So he didn't find a job. He was a carpenter.
Yeah.
So he moved away. He found a job immediately. Many went to the US or Canada because it was so easy to find work.
Yeah.
It was so hard in Europe at times to find work. So there's a lot of immigrants that left, and then he built he built so many houses there in Canada, in Collingwood, and he had a big farm, and that was also like me as a boy going there and being on the farm in the summer.
You loved
what
it.
the hell?
Yeah.
Like it's so different.
Yeah.
Like being on a farm. Like
And so what part of Canada is this?
it's Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually never been. I think I've landed in the airport.
You
once,
guys don't know anything about Canada.
No, and the funny thing is we don't even really hear that much about like. I never even saw Canadian television shows until I moved here, and then there's like
then
a
you
bunch
figure
of good
out
ones.
that like all the good actors are Canadian.
Yeah, there's so many that I was like, no, he's American. They're like, no, Michael J. Fox is
And then
not.
Justin Bieber is also like, what?
Yeah,
Actually, Justin Bieber. That was like.
It was like Bryan Adams. I mean,
Justin Bieber. I still remember. That is the moment. When you're listening to an artist and you realize that now you're too old for music. That was the moment when you realized
that was it.
Shit, music has pass me. I cannot listen to this anymore. You have this young guy who doesn't know anything about girls, but he's singing about girls or something like that. And you're like, what?
It's called
It's weird.
You're Old.
I'm too old. Like
I catch
so he has already feelings for like young girls, and he's like a teenager. It's like, what the? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
this went past me. Yeah.
I always catch myself saying stuff that like my father used to say. I'm just like,
yeah, it's bad, and especially when you become a dad, you know, you're like, you catch yourself becoming your dad in moments.
Oh yeah, and it's funny how it creeps up on you too, because I think that like there's so many stages to life, and at this point I realize how critical I was at like 20 and 30. You know, just like if somebody irritated me or something, I would just cut them out of my life like it was nothing. And I mean, now you think back to like decisions that you made like that, and you're like, man, I was just...
Yeah, and you don't have very many friends.
No, well, you don't have time for friends.
No,
I mean, you know,
that's
that's
true.
a lot of the problem. I mean, especially until your kids get up there. Like just now, it's like, you know, my youngest one is 12, so...
Yeah.
I'm just now starting to breathe a little bit, you know. I mean, they can basically stay home by themselves, and you got 4 of them over there, man.
Yeah. That's it's a big job.
Would you make that decision again?
You know,
off the record or on the record?
No. I mean, it's
made life interesting.
Our plan was to make 2.
Yeah.
And when the twins came, nature kind of told us different.
Yeah.
So then I started realizing that you have no control over anything, basically.
Yeah.
And this is what Corona is showing us again. You know, like you don't have control over anything. Like nature is in control, basically. So nature makes the decisions for you. If you're gonna have kids, if you're not gonna have kids, you know, like that's all like. You have an assumption that you're going to do something, but is it going to really happen?
Yeah, or is it going to be like you think it is?
Yeah.
It's most
likely not.
Yeah.
So then when we had 3, then the 4th one was so easy. But if I only had 2, I would have probably not made a 3rd one.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But then we were already such a multi-hat family with 3 that a 4th one
it didn't really
make
matter.
A difference. No.
I mean, I always say like my sister's having her 2nd kid, so that's like it's a game changer, dude. One is easy, dude, but as soon as you hit that,
but
second
when you have
one,
the one is not so easy. You're like, with the first one, you're definitely gonna fuck up. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just gonna make everything wrong. And
it's funny because my sister is super overprotective over the first one, I'm interested to see how the second one goes.
To the second one. But you can't be with the second one basically, because if you're going to put the same energy in the second one as in the first one, you're going to kill yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the best example is like we bought a camera, or we got a camera for like the first kid, and you're taking photos all the time, right? And then the second one's coming, you're like, oh shit, I forgot to take photos. Oh, why didn't I take any photos? And you realize you only bought the camera for the first kid.
Thank God, I have to give credit to my wife. She is so good at taking the photos. You know, you can see everybody's cringing when it's time to take photos. Everybody hates it. But then you look back on it, and
it's
all
good.
the
It's good
photos
that
are
somebody
there.
takes it.
Yeah, I mean, but we have the same thing. Like when
Yeah.
Sophia was born, we have videotapes. I mean, out the yin yang for. All over, and we've never watched any of them. I mean, we've converted old 8mm tapes to DVD, I think, and never watched those. So I mean, you know, we have so many. I think when we retire, we can just at least sit there and watch it for a while. I don't know.
You know, when my when my parents, the kids' grandparents' dog died, I went through all like the pictures we had from the past.
Yeah.
And it takes you hours and hours just to go through them and find stuff.
Yeah, and then put them in files and stuff.
Basically.
And it's kind of cool because we never really have time to sit down. That's why we're in the car, and I'm trying not to talk about stuff because I was really I was thinking about what we were going to talk about. And the main thing to me that's very interesting is just coming from, several different backgrounds. And then ending up in a place that you don't really have any ties to, which is, I can relate to.
Yeah, and
I mean, other than from marriage side.
Yeah, and with you it's the same. I mean, you have like you're American, your wife is Finnish.
Yeah.
Uh, your son looks like a Finn. Your daughter looks like an Italian.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing.
I was really good when I was young.
You
at
go
the
you
pool.
go to the yeah, you go to the store and you know that your daughter is from made
Yeah,
by you.
yeah.
Your son maybe not.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I used to be in the swimming pool in America, and Sammy was little, and he's so blonde, dude.
Yeah, he is.
And then
yeah.
everybody's like, "So both of these kids are yours?" I'm like, it's what she tells me.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I noticed it yesterday again when we went to the soccer field. I mean, all our boys, they're about the same height, and from the back, they have the same kind of hair. You know, this typical Finnish hair.
Yeah.
Like everybody has the same color. And you think because like we're dark, they would get something from us. But
Yeah.
still, the Finnish gene is quite
It's
predominant.
quite predominant,
you know,
yeah.
like you're surprised. Like I think the most lucky that my boys got is to get the brown eyes, so they kind of really pop out, and the huge long eyelashes that my wife has were like blonde usually. You know, they're also luckily brown, so you actually see like
the contrast.
The contrast. But others, they're like I look at them and they look pretty Finnish, and it's the hair that makes. That gives kind of the Scandinavian look, the blonde, right?
Yeah, and I used to think that I was quite biased because I was like, my kids look pretty good, or is it just me? Am I just saying that? But I mean, your kids are good-looking kids too. But then you like see. Have you ever seen somebody that obviously just has bad genes together, and then you see their kid, and you're like,
I'm not part of this show.
that is the fucking ugliest kid I've ever seen. I mean, you know what I'm saying. I'm not saying anybody that I know in particular, but when you run across people, you're like, okay.
No comments here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry, but so now you've moved to Canada.
Yes. Yeah.
And you're 16.
I'm 16. I had 1 year of English, so my English was crap.
So it was mainly for school. I mean, you didn't
No,
go there to play
mainly
hockey.
for hockey. Yeah, I want to go play hockey. Yes, and you know, I have to give it to the U.S. and Canada. They have like the one good thing about the system over there is like when you are in high school, you get to choose your what is it called?
Your career.
No, the topics that you want to study.
Oh yeah.
With the classes, right?
Yeah.
So things that you have some compulsory classes that you need to take.
Yeah.
But then things that you don't want to take, you don't take, and you take something that is more interesting to you. So you can put your curriculum together that you have like 60-70% of classes that you actually like going to.
Yeah, and that helps.
And that helps, you know.
Yeah.
If you have 60-70% of classes you don't want to go to, but you have to, it doesn't motivate you very much.
No.
So and the other thing was with boarding school that every day we had sports. So me as a sporty person, you know, I didn't need to like living in Switzerland. I had to go to school, and the setup is in a way terrible for parents. You go to school in the morning, you go home, they have to make you lunch, and then you go back to school. Yeah, so there's no school lunch. That's the worst thing about the Swiss system, you know, no school lunch. Like here in Finland, everybody gets school lunch. Everybody,
they have a great
the young kids get school breakfast, you know.
Yeah.
Perfect. So the parents don't need to worry. The kids are there, then they come back.
During this corona, I'm like, oh my God, I'm tired of making lunch. Lunch, breakfast.
Yeah, and think about it.
Dinner.
Yeah, exactly. And here we even could pick up some
that
food.
was, I mean, my friends will
amazing.
trip out in America. Yeah, they were giving away
you don't
groceries
get that in
for
any other country.
No.
I mean, it's just amazing. The sports infrastructure here, the free infrastructure you get is incredible. You know, the healthcare is incredible. The education is incredible.
Yeah. And
I'm coming from Switzerland, and I'm saying this, you know,
I got you.
It's a rich country, you know.
And my mother-in-law fought cancer 15 years on basic, you know, healthcare here, and they took, I think, fantastic care of her.
Yeah, and you see a lot like friends we have that get pregnant. They tend to come back to Finland because you're taken care of, you know.
Yeah.
Like
I was telling my sister too that she paid, and I can't remember the exact number, but it was a lot of money for in vitro fertilization, and you get it. I think you get 2 or 3 free here.
Okay, yeah.
And then after that, you may have to go to a private practitioner.
I mean, what many people don't understand is that you have like, if you have psychological problems and you, for example, don't like your body or something like that, you might even get plastic surgery paid or like a boob reduction or something. You know, you will never get that in the US.
Really? I didn't have to look into that.
You get a boob job for free. Because I'm feeling bad. Yeah, I also, I don't feel so good after the corona. I mean, I'm having some serious issues with myself.
I think some titties might help me. Maybe pass the time a little bit while I'm in isolation.
No, but there is like there's a case where, of course, a person found out that they're a different gender and they had to have this transition from one gender to the other, and of course the state supports that. You know, would you get that in another country? Would you get that?
No,
I don't think so.
No.
You know, like.
I will say that the one thing that is a little hard here for me, and luckily because we live in a small suburb here, it's not relatively a problem here, but I like being able to go to the same practitioner or doctor and talk, because I mean, it's not really possible here because of the system. But luckily enough, like where we live, we have a very small doctor's office, and relatively, if you ask, you can see the same person there.
Yeah,
but that's very like.
I don't
in
think
America,
I've ever
I go to
been
the same
here
dude.
to the same dude.
Yeah,
it's right. I never.
Because it's nice, then they get to know you, and then they know a little bit more.
And of course, the other kind of sucky thing is that you will have 2 hours waiting time with your sick kids if you go to the hospital.
Yeah, but that's because
but that's because it's public.
Yeah,
so you just wait. But it never bothered me. So like after the first kid, when you know how it happens, and you're so stressed that you have to wait, and like, is it our term already? And you go and talk to the nurse, is it our term? Like with a second kid, you're like, hey, I'll go and buy some snacks first, some drinks, and I bring something to play, and you know that you're gonna sit there, so you're already prepared. You know, you got a big bag, you get food out, and you're just like snacking for 2 hours. Oh, it's our turn. Okay, let's do it. So. You get used to the system, so
yeah.
I mean, I got used to Canadian pizza, you know.
Oh yeah, I bet.
And like you come from Italian pizza, and then you have like, you know, the American style pizza. It's just like you take a pizza and there's like a deciliter of oil dripping off it, and you're like, what is this?
I just remember always when I go back there and you get like or like my family, we have a pretty big family, and they're like, we'll order a couple pizzas, and 2 pizzas are there. I'm like, is this for everybody? And then you remember after you have like 2 pieces, you're like, oh God. So it's definitely a little bit different.
Yeah, that's true.
This is more the Italian
way. And the Italian way is kind of like it's
very thin.
It's really thin, right?
Yeah.
And everybody gets like their own kind of pizza with their own kind of thing. It's different there, you know, and also like the size of the pizza, like
it's huge. You're like, do I have to tie this to the top of the car, or do I put it in the trunk?
Yeah.
So what else did you like from Canada? I mean, or what do you miss from there, I guess is a better question.
It's a good question. I mean, to me, you know, there's a lot of similarities with Canada and Finland. The cottage life is also very predominant.
Yeah, see, you
really
guys
like
don't
that
have
here.
that?
You guys don't have that?
So we don't have any time. We're always working.
No, I don't think that's an American thing. Huh?
It's definitely not. No.
So it's definitely a Canadian thing too, to go into the nature, you know.
Yeah.
And that's very similar to like Finland.
It definitely recharges you, is what I've noticed. Because I mean, I grew up in LA, till I was 13, and there's no woods there. It's just all manufactured. Everything is manufactured, and I really have to say, in my adult age, it's really nice to go walk out in nature, especially during this Corona stuff. You get out and go walk in the nature. It really, you're kind of alone with your thoughts, and you kind of plan your days out. I think it's really good for your mind.
Yeah, and you could basically go anywhere here in the forest, and you could get almost lost.
Yeah.
And you're like in the city, basically. Well, Espoo is not a city, but it's the second largest city in Finland. And
But
we
it
have
doesn't
one
take
that-
long if you drive out of here to see nothing.
Yeah, that's right. So it's very, it's very much like Canada. You just drive a little bit and you can. Okay, Canada has so much difference too, and you have like huge like farms and stuff like that. Which is again, of course, you get it in Finland too. But here I don't know anybody that has a farm. So I don't know how that life would be here having a farm. No idea.
Yeah, see, my wife's family, that's how they actually went to America in the mining times, and they went there to work, and then they brought all the money back home, and then they actually built their family farm that's up north in off money that was made in America.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. But I mean,
cool.
that farm is still there.
Yes,
Her cousin is living there and running it. He's got
But that's also something like, for example, when you're from Switzerland, I mean, there is proportionally not so many farmers, and most people are like me, like city people or suburban people or the friends I know. I don't know any farmer in Switzerland, for example. In Canada, not so much either, but that's the only country I sort of have a relationship to a farm.
Yeah.
In Finland, I don't have it either. So, and I'm not saying like my relatives there were farmers. They just had a farm.
Yeah, it just happened to be what they were doing.
They just happened to live on a farm, and they did some stuff, but they didn't really do like anything like agriculture or anything like that. They just lived on a farm.
Yeah, because that's some serious work too.
Yeah, there was so. What did they do? They had huge fields, and they just needed to cut them all the time. And I don't even know what they did with that. I mean,
who knows? Like where my wife is, they grow a lot of grain, and then I guess they have to rotate it. If I remember correctly, they rotate it so they'll make feed for like the animals one year, and then they'll grow like wheat for bread making, to make bread and stuff like that. And that's what they've always done there. You used to have cattle there back in the day, and stuff. Yeah, my wife can remember playing with the cows and stuff when she was young. But that's like completely obtuse to me. I wouldn't. I never even saw farm animals growing up in LA. I mean, we were climbing in ditches and putting stuff on railroad tracks, and just like stupid shit, getting into trouble. And
I mean, when you think about me living in the suburbs, the forest was like it's a 10 minutes walk and you're through it. Yeah. And we call it a forest. I mean, this wouldn't even be a forest here, It's like a bunch of trees. Yeah. The population density there is just everybody's so close together. So
did you get your driver's license in Canada?
I got it in Canada. Yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah, that is so weird. So I'm coming from Europe where I'm like already drinking at like 12, 13 years old, right? Or like, well, first time the guys got me drunk in hockey, I don't know, how old was I? Like 12, 13. And I didn't drink anymore till I was like 16. Yeah. Because it was, they really like pulled one on me and I just puked like a whole day.
And you're like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. And then I went to Canada and I'm like, hey, guys, or like the guys were like, yeah, it's weekend, let's have some beers. Hey, we need to get some fake IDs. We need to be 21. And I was like, what? 21? Are you kidding me? So you have to get fake IDs, right? I mean, everybody does it. So I was Australian, Australian fake ID to be 21. It wasn't really a problem, but then it was weird. So I got my driver's license with 17.
Yeah. Yeah, I got mine at 17, which is actually late.
Which was late. And then going back to Switzerland in the summertime, I couldn't drive a car, but of course
you had a driver's
car
license.
anyways. I had a driver's license, so because you have to be 18.
Yeah.
In
it's so even at that time you had to be 18.
So in that sense, it was really kind of cool that I had so many things from different worlds. Yeah. Yeah. And now, really living already over 20 years in Finland, I think this is kind of it has like the free nature and everything of Canada, the wilderness here, and like for example, we were walking on the weekend and we went mushrooming Also something I just picked up here, like
Yeah, I
wouldn't-
mean, nobody.
I wouldn't do it in Switzerland. So
The only reason I think I started, I was like, they have psychedelic mushrooms? Okay, well, let's go then.
yeah, but we were walking in the forest with Goldie, our dog, right? So we came up the hill, and I think the moose that we saw there, it didn't smell us, because usually they go away.
Yeah.
They're huge beasts, right? So we came up the
Massive.
hill. We came up the hill, and the moose had his ass there, and didn't see us, but Goldie saw it, and it went after it. Luckily now, like, the cow was not facing us, because it would probably charge, and those things are pretty dangerous. So
Man, those things are
like, they're huge.
huge. I mean,
They're huge.
I could not put it into my mind how big they were. I mean, my
Yeah.
father-in-law used to warn me that they were big.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
one time
yeah.
driving up north, we actually ran up next to the car.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. And then later my brother-in-law said that was just a baby. I was like, oh my God. I mean, it's so huge, that animal. It's so big.
It is, and it looks so clumsy too.
And if you hit it with your car,
Yeah.
just take the legs out and it goes right into the windshield.
Yeah,
And
it's gonna
just
kill you
takes out the
probably.
whole family.
Yeah.
So,
That's
yeah,
true.
they're a big problem here in Finland.
Yeah, and actually, when you drive here on the street, I mean, you will be surprised, but you see hundreds of kilometers of moose fences.
Yeah. They're pretty good at keeping them
Yeah,
in there.
they're
And
pretty-
of course,
pretty
they
good.
hunt them.
Yeah, sure.
We have a big
Yes.
hunting culture here.
Yeah.
I mean, to keep them under control
Of
too,
course,
because then they run across the roads and it's not good.
No, you don't want to hit those. No, one time we drove to the mökki, and I always thought that you only have the moose has one baby, but sometimes they have multiples. And I was looking at the streets like about a kilometer or two ahead, and I thought it was a herd of cows or something. Then they started to get big, and there was 3 moose, and they were baby moose still, because I saw, they were not so big, but
Yeah.
they were big anyways, definitely a lot bigger than a cow when we came closer, So 3 of them, they must have been brother or sister together, and that you see 3, I think is pretty rare. Then they were just going to the field. It was a pretty cool experience too. So
I bet.
these things are nice,
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, it's not something you're gonna get in Switzerland a lot. You're gonna find maybe a deer or something.
yeah.
So,
See, that's like South
Yeah.
Carolina. Well, I mean, like
yeah,
in California, I don't remember any crazy animal. Of course, they
Yeah.
have, is it mountain lions up there?
okay,
And,
yeah,
some
that must be scary
crazy
too.
stuff. Yeah.
I mean, the scariest thing. Well, I heard, of course, moose are a lot more dangerous than bears, but
Yeah, there's bears there.
But bears. We were in Yukon Park, and there was like 2 bears. Like, me and my dad were parked. We were just going kayaking, and bears eating out of the trash cans, and it's so surreal. You're here over here, getting out of your car, and bears eating over there, and you're like, shit. Why is he coming over here? And, like,
He's gonna
the street
eat
is
my
here.
kids.
Yeah, but it's weird. But those things, they don't
Oh,
really
dude.
do anything. They're just and
Unless
that's a
you
bad thing.
irritate 'em,
That's
yeah.
a bad thing. That's
Yeah.
when they eat from the trash and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But
I remember a story. My other grandfather, my mom's father, they were camping in the woods, and a bear got into his cooler and tore up all his beer and everything. He was so pissed about it.
no, that's
Yeah.
bad.
Not
A
happy.
thirsty bear. I hope the bear got nice and drunk.
Yeah, maybe. So you stayed in Canada for 2 years.
3. Well, actually,
3.
no,
okay.
I did grade 10, 11, and 12. Now
Okay.
they don't have grade 12 anymore, I think. in
Yeah, because
Canada.
we have 12.
You have 12, yeah.
Yes.
Our
And so you
school-
graduated from there and came, or you
Yeah,
had to come
no,
back
I
and
graduated
graduate?
from there, and I did 1 year at University of UNB, New Brunswick. And that's really,
Okay.
that's in the deep forest.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. That's like East Coast up north,
No.
just wood.
And so you played semi-professional hockey for,
No, that year I didn't play, so I came back, and then I played 2 years pro, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, well,
And for what teams were they?
First, I had a contract from like Kloten, and they were borrowing me to Oshawa. Oshawa is a B club, and then Kloten was together with Bülach, so I played a year there, and then I kind of quit.
Yeah.
So it was just it's a lot to.
Did it tear your body up? I mean, or like, is it bad
huge. I was huge. No. It just.
Isn't it bad on your knees, or is it?
Yeah. It depends.
Anything relatively.
Depends. Come on, I think you have worse knees than me.
Hey, what's wrong with my knees?
Yeah.
I can still run on this.
You know, like. It was just rough. I mean, I love hockey and everything, and I like the lifestyle, but you really have to make good money with it.
Yeah.
Because like, it's kind of hard. Okay, I quit when I was 23, so I was pretty young already. I could have definitely gone longer. And
yeah.
I just then made a decision just to, and you know, there's other things that came into play. I had a really demanding girlfriend that, you know, that didn't want to travel, and you know.
Yeah, traveling is never fun.
No, and she at that time already, you know, she was Finnish and stuff like that, and she came to live with me, and I was never home. It was really hard for her, you know, living in a foreign country. And I was always on the road, you know.
So that's how was your tie to Finland?
Yeah,
so you
that's
met
my
her,
tie to Finland.
You met her where?
In Kouvola. Yeah.
When you were playing hockey here?
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
What was it? GasolineVibes at the moment. I was in a training camp in Finland.
Yeah.
Then met her, and we kind of stayed in contact.
Okay, and then that's how you, I mean, that's
every
foreigner you'll talk to here is like, oh yeah, Finnish.
Yeah, it was kind of a fascinating country because women here are so different, you know.
They're very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very independent. I like that, you know.
Yeah.
You know, like in Switzerland, you know, it's like women. They are very career oriented, but it's very hard because from the society to be in work life and be a mother. That's another thing here.
Yeah.
Like, women are empowered here. That's a good thing. I want to be in a country where women are empowered and they can be mothers and they can be part of a workforce. Because in another country, you don't get to not lose your job while you're pregnant. Get support,
that's for sure.
You know. Get your job back for sure after 3 years, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it doesn't
there
happen
is no
anywhere
other
else.
system like here.
No.
So the system here empowers women, which I like. Because what should you empower? You should empower women because they're birthing our children, right?
Yeah.
And it's part of the society. If you have them sit at home all the time, which they can if they want, but the men can too if they want.
Yeah.
Your society is so much stronger because everybody is participating all the time. And they don't have to be afraid of losing their job or have to make a decision, okay, no, I'm going to quit my job now, and then I have to like reorient myself. Like, you got to make it easy for women to also like to get back into the work life.
Yeah, I agree with you on that as well. And then also I see it from the other side. So it's got its good points and bad points. It's great for the people that are hardworking and that, you know, are following the system right. But then, like, I mean, you know, if you're a small business guy and you got these guys that will, you know, don't work hard and they're just playing the system, you know, it's got its negative effects too. Yeah, but overall, it's definitely, you know.
But that usually has nothing to do with the women. That's just the system that can play. You don't really need to work hard here when you have a job. You can you basically don't lose your job very easily. You cannot get fired very easily. And you don't need to work so hard here.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, the drive is definitely...
The drive and the working ethic to succeed. Like, Finns don't have this attitude like the American dream. Oh, I can be whatever I want. This system controls you. Yeah. You're most likely not going to be super rich.
We definitely, almost certainly not going to be rich here.
The system puts you somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But it puts everybody somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And even the people who do it and get rich and succeed, you know, they will not show it. Like, in a way, like there is some.
Well, subtlety is a common thing. I mean, Finns, for the most part, they're not show-offs.
No.
It's not showing off is almost frowned upon.
It's bad. It's bad. Yeah. Which I like. Which I like. This modesty here.
Yeah,
in a way.
definitely. Modesty is much better.
Yeah, but of course there's good and bad. But I just like that. Basically, everybody has the same opportunity studying here.
That's for sure.
That's
I mean,
a
you can
huge
go
bonus,
as far as you
know.
want. But of course, I think a lot of people are overeducated too. I mean, you know.
That is true, and a lot of people, because you get overeducated here, they don't have the work ethics to work hard. You know. And then they don't really have to succeed because of the system. Yeah. Because the system doesn't it's not designed to make you drive and work hard.
Yeah, I think thing, I think one key point too people kind of misinterpret too is that that everybody needs to go to college. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that it's all about life experience too. I mean, I never went to college, never went to any of that stuff, but I learned so much just from work life.
You have high street credits.
Got high street cred. I mean, you know, it's one of those things. It's no matter what jobs you take, you always take something with you, and you can apply that to your life. You can apply it to your next job, the way you raise kids.
I think while you study, or at least that's at least my own personal opinion, you should also work.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right.
And people here, they don't really do that. They just study and study and study.
Definitely, the education is a plus. I mean, my two older kids have I think a phenomenal education from here, and I know that my little kids, no matter where we live in life, they always have that opportunity to come back here and go to college, which I think is better than any opportunity you have in America. I think we're really lucky because we have that both countries.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So, you know, when you turn 18, like my oldest one did, he came here all by himself, and it's kind of a great adventure, and this is a great safe place to kind of come explore life a little bit. You know, you can go to lots of European different countries, see a lot of different cultures, and then also be very safe here. And, you know, most likely nothing's going to happen to you here. No, you know, I mean, there's so many people in America, and, you know, you can definitely get in some weird crowds and you know, I mean, it's definitely, I always explain it to people that the atmosphere feels different here is the best way that I can explain it. When I'm in America, even though it's my home country, I know that if I'm out with the wrong people, which has happened many times, you know, the situation can throw you for a spin that you're not ready for. Yeah. And here I feel pretty confident no matter what happens, I'm not going to end up in prison, you know what I mean?
You are not going to, like, this feeling I maybe get like a couple of times when you're like out in the nighttime in the US, and you're like getting in something which some people call gang areas or something. Yeah. Like,
or bad neighborhoods.
Yeah, or bad neighborhoods. That feeling that you have at that time, you don't get that here.
Yeah, you definitely don't.
So.
But sometimes that feeling is good.
Yeah,
I mean, it's good to feel it every once in a while. You know what I mean?
It can be exciting,
or maybe not exciting, but maybe after you feel a little bit like, whew, that was insane.
It's a good lesson for life that you sometimes have this feeling, or that you at least like also like have experienced it a couple of times, like in Canada as a teenager, just being in a big city. Yeah. And you're like, okay, you're getting into a party or a crowd where you're like uncomfortable, and you're happy to be afterwards out of that situation, and you're just like, oof, I survived that. I survived that, you know, like.
I'm not so sure kids would survive some of the experience that we lived through.
Yeah, I mean, you know, being held a gun to my head was actually in Switzerland.
Yeah, oh really?
With some crazy person. That doesn't usually happen, but somebody just pulled out their gun. Yeah.
But I mean, that shit happens.
Yeah, that shit happens, sure. And what the craziest thing that I experienced here in Finland was in the morning, and there was one guy, and I think he was on some kind of amphetamines or something, and he had a knife in his hand, and he was bleeding, and he came running towards me, and he's like, oh, no. He started speaking to me in Finnish. I said, hey, sorry, you're not the guy. And I was like, okay. But he kept walking towards me, and I just kept moving back because he wanted to talk to me. But he had like, he's like, hey, put the knife away. Oh, okay, this. And he put it down, but he still had it in his hand. And he was still bleeding. And I was like, shit. So
somebody
that kind
put a
of
gun to your head in Switzerland?
Sorry? Yeah, some guy. He was in coke, and he just wanted to show his gun. But he was so high.
I hate it when that happens.
He was so high. So when somebody's that high and he has a gun, and and you look in his face, and you see he's not in control, you're like, oh shit, put that gun down, and he's not putting it down. He's like, hey, please put it down, and the last thing you want to do is like touch the gun, you know? And it's right there, and you're just like, hey, please, so you're just moving out of the way all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but those kind of situations, in Canada maybe some, just knowing with some guys that I know that we had like chases with the cars, and knowing that they had like guns inside the car, that's already a weird feeling when you have like somebody's chasing you down, and you're like in the middle of the night, you're that's probably something North American too. Well, they
definitely
they do it in Finland too, that you go cruising with a car, but it's different. They're cruising. It might also mean that some guys might have a gun, and you see, okay, they have a gun in their car, and you're like, okay, why? Just like to be like cool. So it doesn't feel nice.
But that is definitely a good point. I mean, like here, I know that I could literally talk to shit to anybody I wanted downtown, and the worst thing that's going to happen is we're going to get into a fight.
Yeah.
But in America,
you might have some people that are crazy. They have a gun and they get pissed off because you're talking trash with them, and they might just get the idea to, hey, I'm going to pull my gun, or somebody will tell you, hey, do you want me to get my gun? Huh? And stuff like that.
And they go pop the trunk.
Yeah. So you're like, okay, I don't have a gun. Why would you need a gun?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like these power games.
It is. And there's I have to admit that when I was 21, my parents never had weapons in the house or guns or anything. So I wanted one. When I turned 21, I got one. And I was the dumbest fucking gun owner at 21. And actually,
why would you get a gun?
There was no reason. I don't know. I wanted to learn how to do it because I had a few friends that were.
Okay.
I had one friend in particular that was really good with guns. My friend Jimmy, and he.
How old was he?
He was 2 years older than me.
Okay.
3 years older than me. So. He was really safe with guns. I mean, he didn't carry them with him or anything, but he knew all about gun safety. So I said, I'll buy one. And then, of course, the first week that I have it, I'm riding around, and I remember I was going to buy this Corvette. And so I'm riding around with the top off of it. And, of course, I have the fucking gun with me. And I've told a bunch of my friends that I have the damn thing.
Yeah, and everybody wants to see it.
No, somebody got in the car. I had the top off of it. Somebody went in the car and stole it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's what I get. That's a dumbass.
Because he talked about it.
Yeah. A stupid fucking kid.
Yeah, and it might have been somebody
I know.
And they were just afraid to like give it back.
It was this Filipino dude that was that used to hang around us.
Yeah. But that's why.
But that's what you get. I mean, if you're gonna be stupid,
it's kind of weird. Being from Switzerland, I had my own gun for military rifle.
Yeah.
And
so you went to the army too, right?
I went to the army, and of course I'm good at shooting. I shot BB guns when I was younger.
Yeah,
I was pretty.
And military is mandatory in Switzerland.
Military is mandatory.
So it's like one of the few, because in Finland it's also mandatory, which is
There's
not many countries that are.
No, so my dad had his gun home. We still have the gun from my granddad home, but of course we are totally like.
So you get to keep your gun? Did
you
keep yours?
At that time, my granddad got to keep it.
Yeah,
from the
too.
war. My dad, he had it for the longest time at home. He had it home till he ended his military service. And at that time, that was really, really late. They changed then
the laws
and everything. Yeah. And now for those guys that want to bring it back, they can bring it back. And you can even have the guys in the military service that don't have guns if you don't want to have it. So at my military service, we had 4 guys that refused to carry guns.
Okay.
But they still.
Well, they always have, like even in Finland, they always have one kid that doesn't know what the fuck he's doing and ends up shooting himself or accidentally discharging it.
I think at that time, when I think we had 1 or 2 guys who killed themselves with a gun.
Really?
Yeah.
In the army?
Yeah, it's usually the time when, that guys, Usually suicide happens between 18 and 23.
Yeah.
So it's right the time when you're in the army. And guys, guys don't do it with drugs or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's not like that less women try to kill themselves than men, but men are just using like the stronger means of force to kill themselves. So usually guns or like hanging or whatever.
Yeah.
Not, we succeed in the attempt to kill ourselves.
Yeah.
So
we have follow through.
Yeah, exactly. Like we usually do. Yeah. So like this Rekrutenschule, this service, this military service that you do, is many times a perfect opportunity for a young kid to get to a gun, and then he uses it.
Yeah.
So it's usually every year is a couple of kids, or sometimes not, but the guns are very rarely used to shoot other people.
Yeah.
I have ammunition at home, or at that time everybody is ready. But if you open up the ammunition and you would use it, you go to jail. So you cannot open up the ammunition.
Oh, it's just like for
yeah.
emergency.
If you go to the yearly shooting that you have to shoot your quota, you get the ammunition there, and then you just get a couple of bullets and you do it. So it's very controlled. It's not like you guys. You can just buy bullets and
you can buy them from Walmart.
No, we don't just
as many as you
we
want.
don't just get bullets and shoot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean, I will say that I think we need to tighten up some of our, just some of the basic stuff. You should have psych evaluation before you can have a gun. I mean, these are basic things. I mean, that they do here, and I think this is a very liberal place with guns in Europe, Finland. I mean,
but you need to go to have a gun. I think to have a gun, you should be able to shoot a certain amount of, like, if you don't hit the target anymore, you shouldn't have a gun.
Yeah.
Like, you should only have a gun if you shoot, like, in target practice a certain amount of level.
Yeah.
You should not get bullets just to shoot. No, it should be regulated to have bullets. So you should regulate the people who have the gun. They should shoot at a good enough level to own a gun. If you don't know how to shoot, don't have a gun.
Yeah.
So that's just, my philosophy. Basically, don't have a gun. Just don't have a gun.
I don't know. I like the
guns.
possibility of just.
I like to shoot too, but
I wouldn't say that it's necessarily.
Why would you need to have your own gun? I mean, if you want to go shoot and you do like sports shooting, go to the place where you shoot.
Well,
I rent the gun and shoot and leave it there.
Yeah.
You don't need it at home.
Well, I mean, I've moved here 2 times, and with both times that I've moved here, I've had the possibility of bringing my firearms with me, but
really?
I don't
have a firearm
need to have
here?
it. No, I don't have one.
Oh,
here.
okay.
I mean, I keep them over there because there's no reason to have it here.
No.
I mean, I like the weapons for self-protection. If somebody comes in my house, which it happens in America compared to here.
Get a good alarm system.
Well, I mean,
I mean here. I mean, here a lot of the
that's
times,
what I mean.
You leave the door open, right?
Yeah, you don't need it here.
It's the same in Canada.
It's
People
so rare.
leave their houses open.
I still think the funniest thing here is that if you murder somebody here, you get about 7 years in prison, and there's no murders here. I mean that mathematics doesn't work out for me. I mean that's unbelievable.
No, I think I'm not gonna make any friends, but. with this statement, but some of the people in the U.S. are lacking common sense.
Well, I mean,
like you don't need guns.
Well, I don't know. That the culture is different, though.
If you have guns, you need. I'm not talking about laws. You need a process in place, because having a gun, and I have shot in my life. In Finland, at a later age, 100 rounds with a handgun, and I'm pretty good with guns.
Yeah.
So like I'm like a specialist going into the houses and stuff like that too. I did that education in the military, and
tactical.
Yeah, and when I go in and like always in the drills, I usually hit where I want to with a rifle. Yeah. It's super easy. With a gun, on the other hand. With a handgun, it's so much harder to control that.
Yeah.
Like, the rifle is easier to control than a handgun, and and my wife's cousin, he's an officer. He had 2 guns. He had a Walter PPK, and he had a what was the other one? The most common one. Is it the Beretta? I don't know. The most common ones, the really easy one to shoot, and he showed me how to do it. Yes, I mean, I didn't hit the target so well. Like it was hard. Like where I know I would hit 100% with a rifle every single time, I would not hit with a handgun.
Yeah.
So like just being in a crowd of people with a handgun, you have to be super good.
Yeah.
Like nobody should have a handgun.
Well, no, it definitely, unless you don't, I mean, you should be very comfortable with it. And you should know what you're going to do with it.
Like you would basically need to go shoot every week with that thing to be comfortable with it.
I don't know about that, but you definitely, I mean, if you give somebody that's never shot a gun before a 45 automatic, they're not going to be able to hit anything with that.
I just don't see how it's safe to have a handgun. That's just my opinion. But like I said,
yeah. I mean, I like I said, to me, it's a lot about the culture. The culture is different.
Let's cut out the parts about the guns. Like because I mean, guns,
no, but I mean,
it's a tough topic.
It's definitely a tough topic. But I mean, for instance, I buy a lot of cars in America, and when I go buy cars, there's the most opportune moment when people get robbed are usually when they know you're coming to buy something cash.
But why do people use so much cash? Like, for example, here living
because
in
it's
Finland.
the culture again.
Yeah.
The culture is totally.
You know how it is here.
About
I
cash.
have never $1 of cash on me.
I know, but that's totally different than America.
Like
it would not work in
now,
America.
Nowadays, every payment I basically make is contactless.
Yes, and that's I think
beep.
here it's a really good thing, but in America that will never work. Maybe 20 years from now, but we are built off cash. You go eat somewhere, and they won't take card.
Hey, you guys need to tip too, eh?
Yeah, you need to
It's
tip.
a weird
you won't.
yeah.
They won't take card.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, you know,
And the
in
weird
Italy,
thing
there's
is-
still
the
places
weird
like
thing
that.
is, I get every time surprised. You go and buy a pair of sneakers. You think you're paying $9, and then suddenly you're paying more, and you're like,
And why is it 14?
Why is it more?
Sales tax.
ah.
Yeah, I will say that's one thing.
That's so
I wish they
weird.
would do it this way because, like, when you go to the store and it says $15.80,
Yeah,
that
you
is
pay
included with
$50.
the sales tax. You don't really see on there. So I like that fact because I know that it's $15.80. I don't have to
Exactly.
calculate it in my head.
No, you don't
what
need to
it
go
is.
with a calculator and think,
Yeah.
you know, like, it's super weird.
But I mean, you know, like I had the hardest time when
Once
I moved
again,
here with cash.
You guys are lacking common sense. And then you're using
I don't know about
Fahrenheit.
that.
You're using
I mean-
Fahrenheit. Who uses Fahrenheit?
I will say
Inches.
that our imperial system has to go. I will be the first to admit that it is terrible.
Oh my
And when I got here, I was so confused. People are like, you know, I was trying to find like a place to buy a pack of cigarettes when I moved here in like 2004.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, yeah, it's like 500 meters that way. I'm like, do I need to drive the car or or can I walk there? He's like, no, you can definitely walk there.
Yeah, and now we have to go to another thing. We have to go back to like buying liquor and alcohol here in Finland.
Yeah.
That is impossible here. Like when you come from like
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
How
it-
is
like it-
Canada with liquor?
Canada is also pretty restricted. They have liquor stores.
Because see, Canada's funny
Yeah.
because it's like
Canada is
basically
a little bit like
one
Finland.
big.
Yeah, you have to go to the liquor store. So
Yeah.
it's also really like.
Is it government owned? Because here it's
I-
like government
I
owned.
am not sure. I'm not sure, but it's also very restricted, like here.
Okay.
And that's just weird when you come, like you from
Well,
the
the
US,
US
or me from
it
Switzerland.
depends
you know?
though too
It-
what
does
state
it?
you're in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like in California, you can go to the grocery store at
Yeah.
4 a.m. and buy a liter of vodka.
And you see, coming from Switzerland,
In South
and
Carolina, you
being
can't do that.
able in every store to buy beer, liquor,
Yeah.
wine, like this feels very restrictive to me.
Yeah, this is very
It
restrictive.
is. So
yeah.
like, and
And the
what
products
people
are
don't
very
understand is
restrictive.
that after 9 o'clock, you don't get beer.
Yeah.
So this week I was in the store. I was walking the dog, and I still wanted to pick up some beer. I was 10 minutes late. I had the beer already there. She was like,
You can't buy
"No,
it.
you can't buy it." I was like, "What?" Oh, about 9:10. And I just forgot about it.
And see, when I moved to South Carolina, well, of course, growing up there and then hitting my drinking age, which was 18 pretty much, and I mean, even though you couldn't, but in South Carolina, it was very, very restrictive compared to the rest of the country, because in South Carolina, you can't buy any beer at that time. You couldn't buy any beer or alcohol on Sunday. Completely closed on Sunday.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they had some
And that's
weird.
the same here. That's the same here.
They had some very strange liquor law where when you go to the club or you're at a bar and you order a liquor drink, they had the mini bottles. That's all they could mix your drinks with. Was the mini bottles. So if you buy something that has 5 different liquors in it, you're paying $5 per. It was crazy, dude. I couldn't even begin to explain why it was like that.
Yeah.
But that was very odd.
But I guess you have to also people maybe don't understand that thing about maybe the States, and when you go like to California or you're going to the New York State, it's like it's so different worlds.
Yeah, well, it's such a huge country. I mean,
so it's like, and it's similar with Canada, different provinces, like, and I don't even know how the local laws are, but people are, maybe not different, well, a little bit different, but it's just huge distances,
Yeah.
And
well, I say it's like Europe. Kind of like U.S. because you're going to different states, and it's basically going to different country, of course. And you have such different cultures here. But
maybe that doesn't bother me so much in a way, but like the laws and legislation in the U.S. might be different, like you said, from state to state, and you might get that, and like I don't know exactly how it is in Canada, but in Switzerland too, we have 26 states, and they're so small, and you might
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, you might have different, like slightly different education system and stuff like that. So it's not like here in Finland, they have really managed to kind of merge everything.
Yeah,
but it's also more
people.
But it's so much more controlled. Like so you do give up a little bit of freedom that you're like, feeling unsafe. It comes also a little bit like, because here everything you cannot feel because everything is so controlled, that you don't get the crimes, you don't get certain things that you just because it's so restrictive, it's so controlled, and it doesn't bother me here because it gives you other freedoms, that the freedom to go in the countryside, in the nature side. I don't get that in Switzerland. Like, if I would have the same experience in Switzerland, I would have to probably be a millionaire and have a cottage somewhere in the mountains and have to be able to get that freedom that I get here for like nothing, because it's like part of the family, and most Finnish families have multiple places where you can go and have different experience.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
But
so
like
where does freedom starts and ends? Who knows? So.
Yeah. So your parents, they live in the same house that you grew up in?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's your childhood house.
Yeah, and think about...
And do you still have like your room in there, or have they converted it into something
No,
else?
actually, that's a funny story, because my brother had the room here, I had the room here.
Yeah.
And basically, they broke through the wall, and
He has the whole thing now.
They have now the whole thing, yeah. So, but that's also a good thing that room doesn't exist anymore, in my opinion.
Well, you had some of your weed hidden in
No. I'm not the person that
that
looks back into the past and would want to have that memory. Like,
I don't know. I have that same outlook.
I
used to have that.
Nostalgia, huh?
Well, no, I had this thing where I thought that, I just want to put everything that happened to me, like high school is the most awkward time ever in any dude's life. I mean, of course, the friends that you had that were like the super popular people in high school are the ones that I noticed are like the most lost at this point in life.
Could be, yeah,
but
some of them.
I mean, I look back now as an adult too, and I know that I have this love-hate relationship for, living in this city that I grew up with. And I know at this point in the time that a lot of that made me who I am today. And there is a lot of the stuff that I like there. All right. I wouldn't necessarily want to raise my entire family there for the rest of my life and retire there, but there's a lot of things that I have a lot of love for in that place,
sure. Yeah.
And I do have that identity crisis
good, huh?
here that
Yeah,
I
but
know
for
in the
you-
end it's not really, these are, and I don't mean this in a negative way. I'm saying they're not my people. That's not, I love this country and I love being here. And I love that my kids are part of this country.
Yeah.
But I struggle sometimes
Yeah, I see
to
you
fit
struggle
in here.
there. I
To
know.
fit in
I
sometimes.
I know you have a little bit bigger problem to fit in. Yeah, and
Well, I'm a very outgoing person too.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, maybe I also got a little bit more quieter living in this country.
for sure.
You know,
I mean,
like
it's
like
only-
you don't go in the elevator anymore and make like conversation. Like
I do
doesn't
miss
really-
that. You know.
it doesn't really happen here so much. Like maybe with the younger generation again, it's coming again. Like they're talking all the time. Like my kids,
Really?
they never.
Oh, well,
shut
maybe
up,
that,
right?
like, okay,
Yeah,
that generation,
right?
but for sure, like
that generation,
the
it doesn't-
teenage
it do-
generation
it doesn't
now, I
know
don't
how to
see
be
it at
quiet
all.
anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like because they're watching YouTube video and they're hearing now like, and they're also playing games, and in everything they're doing, they're commenting and talking about what they're doing. Like when we played video games,
Yeah.
it was quiet. And when
I
we
tell
had,
your mom is yelling at you.
and,
Get the
and when
hell
we
out of
had
the house.
friends, sure, we
Yeah.
talked shit and stuff like that, but it was different. Now they're communicating at the same time they're chatting.
Yeah.
So they're basically they're 24/7 always communicating unless they're sleeping or unless you take the phone away from you. So
Yeah.
the techno stress they have and this kind of urgency to always communicate, we didn't have that. They don't have
Yeah.
that time so much that we had, where the mind had to relax and like think when we went from one to the other place, you know.
Exactly, and I think that we're going to find out 10, 20 years from now that was a mistake, that we didn't
Maybe
control it a
isn't.
little bit
Maybe
better.
it isn't.
I don't know. I think it is.
Maybe it's going to
because
change
I think
for the better. Who knows?
I think that you need that downtime to kind of process stuff too, and everything is way too quick now.
Sure, but they're still looking also, like you can see with our kids too, that they sometimes look for that downtime and then they're enjoying it again, right? And
Yeah, I mean, I
So-
noticed that I have to force it upon them sometimes.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
then
and-
when they have it,
Yeah.
then you notice that
the
they-
thing is that this shit is so addictive that they're...
And we're back after that short commercial announcement.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
The commercial break about GasolineVibes.
Yeah, yeah,
The best show in town.
yeah. It is pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your
What were we talking about?
What am I going to? Oh, we were talking about kids, about the
Yeah.
techno stress, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah. That it's so
And-
hard to basically, like, as soon as they're on their phones,
Yeah, and
they're getting so much into that they kind of lose the reality of everything,
Yeah.
and they would just forget themselves.
yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say is that I was talking with my daughter about this too, that, I'm like, you guys have to see how it irritates you so bad, you know, and those are the things that you have to point it out, because it is so addictive that they can't control themselves. They just don't have the capability to time manage,
No,
what they're doing.
it
It's
doesn't
just
happen.
way too addictive. And so, I have to point out all the time especially when they lose their freaking mind when you take them off of it. And you go, look how you're
Yeah.
acting about it.
And-
It definitely irritates you. And more you kind of work with them, they start to realize, yeah, you're right. And my daughter said, yeah, I have a problem trying to leave it.
Yeah. And the application, I've been watching it many times how the kids use it is TikTok.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's so freaking useless of like, they would go through like content so fast in like, I've seen in like 1 minute them swiping like, I don't know how many times, and always the noise and everything and something going on. It's like, it's disturbing, huh?
Yeah, and it kills me because like we try to put together a nice little show, and it takes a lot of work. I mean, especially with a huge budget that we have. But I mean, by the time we get that and we put it out there, and not many people watch it, but then I watch my son watching other people play, some phone game, and they got like a gazillion freaking views. You're just
That's
like,
true.
really?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's got to make you think who's watching all that stuff.
And there's now this I don't know what they call it. Is it a clan or a group or whatever? It's called phase or fuzzy or kids call it fuzzy. I think it's phase. So it's like this group of players, and it's not just Fortnite. It's other ones too. And these guys live in the same house. And you can make the team or not, and basically you're getting money for making YouTube videos and playing and stuff like that. And these guys are making a shitload of money, a lot of money, just talking on YouTube and playing video games.
I'm just scared that my 9-year-old's gonna, or my 12-year-old's gonna come to me and go, "Yeah, I'm moving out. I got my own house down the street now. I got my own money. No worries. I'm quitting school."
Yeah. Yeah, it would be nice if my kids would be doing YouTube, eh? So, I think that's a full-time job for these guys.
Well, I mean, I definitely have to say that if you really, it would be so nice to do it, full time. Yeah. But it takes a lot of work.
And you like to be on camera, so
I wouldn't say that I necessarily like to be on camera. I just like doing something, semi-original. Yeah. I love cars. Yeah, I'm not sure that's the.
That's our show. You love cars.
And you don't know shit about cars.
I know shit about
cars.
And
I relate to you perfectly because you are exactly like my father. My father does not give a shit about cars. Yeah. It's a tool to get back and forth, and the only thing that he cares about is the air conditioning works and the radio works.
And I have the problem now that because last time when my car broke and the engine blew up.
Yeah, that was quite.
And I had to order it from Sweden myself. I mean, I was basically 2 months without a car, and I managed without a car, right? And
still making the payments.
When the guy put the car back together, I don't have air conditioning now because he didn't put the.
Oh yeah, you got to get it gassed up.
I will not have. That's another trouble. I probably drive without air conditioning until the day when it's really hot outside. I'm like, kids, roll down the window. It's okay. Don't worry. Daddy's gonna do it someday. Yeah. So you know me. Like,
well, you went without windshield wipers.
I went without windshield wipers for like, I don't know.
And let me point out
months.
that VonArb is not like a person that keeps his car clean. So, I mean, the front window was so grimy, and I was driving home in the evening, and I was like, and it was raining, and I was thinking, I knew that you were driving home. I said, how the fuck are you seeing? I think I called you, and you're like, I'm just guessing. Oh, my God, damn.
Yeah. Well,
so we did fix that. That was good.
I mean, we had.
I didn't want everybody to think that I was to let you drive.
No. We fixed it. But yeah, I ordered the part that broke the second time after we fixed it once, right?
Yeah.
We fixed it once. We
totally rigged it up working somehow.
In the mechanical thing that moves the windshield wipers, I drilled a hole and I put it together, and it lasted actually for like 8-9 months.
Yeah.
Until that one windshield wiper broke again, and then it interfered with the other one till nothing worked anymore. And then you gave me some
Rain-X. Yeah, we call it Rain-X.
Okay, whatever. And then it was funny because then you start driving and the kids were like, "What? The water is moving upwards."
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah. So yeah, that's my life. I love cars. No, they just need to.
What was your first car?
My first car was a Honda CRX, and that was a really sweet ride. I loved it. I mean,
it's like a go-kart with windows.
Yeah, pretty much a 2-seater, and in the back I had the
I had a couple of friends that had those.
It was great, and my whole like back. We made a subwoofer system in it.
Of course.
So it was great. I had like a special like knob and everything. You know, little racing like. Yeah. You couldn't lower that thing, but it was already pretty low. But we put wide, nice rims on it, so it didn't.
And this
go
is in Canada.
No, this was in Switzerland.
Oh, it was in Switzerland.
Yeah, I didn't have a car in Canada. I got my driver's license there, and every time I just borrowed a car.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't buy a car because I was boarding there. So actually, the summer I came back, I got my driver's license. I was 17. I was 17 in Switzerland. I would drive around with my mom's green BMW station wagon, you know.
At least my mom had like a minivan, so it wasn't that cool. Other than it could hold a lot of people that like that.
Yeah, that was important. Like when we went to the parties, you know, and stuff. You just, I could drive already while the others couldn't, so it was it was nice. But then later, when I came back, I was already my first car. I was already like 20, you know.
Yeah.
I was already 20, yeah. And then I only had it 1 year. I totaled it, you know, trashed it. That's another story.
I did my fair share
good
of totaling
for a camera.
cars.
This is not camera proof story, totally. You know,
I'm sure
I flipped it, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm lucky to be alive on that one. But
man, I have some friends that did crazy shit in cars. I don't know how they're still with us today.
Yeah,
I mean, we did some crazy stuff
you know,
too.
like,
I mean,
I was totally speeding, so it's like
it's the thing though.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so I'm not a car person, but I do like a good car radio, right, system.
Yeah.
That's nice, even though I don't have it now. Like, I appreciate when you can pump some sounds.
Yeah,
that's nice.
And it's amazing now. I mean, nowadays the cars.
Yeah, they're so good already. You don't need to build in anything.
Yeah, you don't need to put anything in there.
So I mean, at that time, you know, like the car stereos, they were so bad, and people still put in like their own stereos because the stereos you got were shit.
Yeah.
So then
immediately you need to pull that shit out.
And you know, my car stereo got stolen once. Window broken, pulled out.
Yeah.
And nowadays, when you think about
nobody does that.
I mean,
my grandfather's car, actually, that car got broken into in the 80s, and they stole the factory stereos because then in those days they had the Toyota stereos with like the graphic equalizer, and they were going for like $400 or something. I don't know where they were selling those, but yeah, stole the whole thing out of there. We were at the jockey lot one day, or the swap meet, or the flea market, whatever term you guys want to use.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, nowadays the cars are so totally advanced and Bluetooth and everything, and so much better than the 90s cars that we grew up.
I mean, nowadays you connect your smartphone to it, and it has, you know, a freaking
like
everything.
that Porsche we were driving. That was nice, dude.
Yeah, that was good.
It's a nice car.
Yeah, you should watch the episode.
Watch it if you haven't seen it. Click the link.
Click
I don't
the
know
link.
where it'll be. Over there.
Where's the link?
Where's the link?
What do you have to do? Subscribe? Subscribe?
Subscribe?
Isn't that how it works nowadays?
I think so.
We're getting...
It shows our age, too, when we're trying to figure out how to do it.
Press now, and you get a free... What, you get a free something?
I did look right before this is filmed. We have 99 subscribers. Waiting for the 100th one to go.
Yeah. We're getting there.
We are there. And
this episode again is gonna like catapult us straight to the top. Like people are gonna love this. You know.
I don't know. I mean, to me, I think there's people that like listening to a little bit of the different kinds of cultures.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, you know, this is definitely different than the show that we do, I think. But
yeah. I mean, the show we do is all about cars, and this is more about, you know, life.
This
situation.
is just basically shooting shit.
And nobody wants to like stare at us for like 1 hour, going like, yaga about our lives. Which is pretty okay, you know. I mean, we've seen a lot, you know. So
I mean,
that's nice,
I've done a lot more than, I mean, I think there's 3 or 4, maybe a handful of people that have actually ever moved out of the country and that I went to high school with.
Yeah, sure.
So
yeah, and you the funny thing is you tend meeting like your friends or something again, like from way back, and many of them move back again somewhere in the same region where they came from, you know. So like, so it's kind of human nature. So for me, it was also like, I'm probably an odd bird because like I'm probably even an odd bird to my parents and my brother, who liked to have in the same house, you know, and it had like the nostalgic feeling of it and everything. I get a great feeling going back, you know. I always love being there. It's so safe and everything. It's where I grew up. Everything is smaller nowadays, you know. It's like, oh, was this room really this small? You know, this the ceiling really, you know, and
But I mean, you don't miss it to where you ever want to go back there?
No, and that's the thing.
Never? Like retire or ever have a summer place there?
And that's the thing with me, you know. I think I'm a really odd bird there. Like with Ronja, we lived in a rented apartment first, then...
so Ronja was born there?
No. Ronja was born here in Leppävaara. Okay. So we had a rented apartment.
Oh, gotcha.
Then we bought our first house, right? And then we already bought our second house now, and we're already trying to sell that. So for us, it's, you know, it's not really like we're not building.
Same for us too.
Yeah, we're not building a home that is gonna be like. And our kids, maybe they're going to remember the mökki most of being there all the time, which probably is going to be the only, like, let's say, real estate where they can go to and have these kind of memories. Because I don't think when we're older, we're probably not going to live in the same house as we live now anymore.
Well,
so like most, Ronja will have gone through, like, you know, 3 different places, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that's going to affect them. Like...
Yeah, I don't know.
But you know,
I mean, like me growing up, I never stayed in the same house. My parents were always moving. So I think when I was born, we lived in Long Beach, California. I do not remember that house. I think I was 3 when we moved from there. And then we moved to Garden Grove, California. I remember that house pretty good. It had a pool in the backyard. And then from there, we moved to Irvine, California, when I was about 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And then, well, let's see, was I 8 or 9? Yeah, I must have been 9 or 10 maybe.
Yeah.
And then, of course, my brother and sister are 7 and 8 years younger than me. So they only remember that Irvine house maybe just vaguely. And then we moved to South Carolina when I was 12 or 13.
Which is totally different again. So they're more like, so that's why you still have a little bit of California roots, and they don't really have that much.
No, I mean, you know, like my sister loves California, but I don't think she would ever move back there.
Yeah, but I guess California is, if you want a house, it's pretty hard to afford.
Jesus.
Anyways.
Yeah. I mean, the houses are $500,000.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's probably not as sought after living as it used to be, I would say. I mean, you know, 15 years ago, I loved it there.
Yeah.
And if my big kids would have been there, I probably would have stayed there. But like now to move back there, it's just too expensive. And I'm not sure I want to live in a big city anymore, you know? I mean, I almost think this city is too big. You know? I mean,
we're getting comfortable and lazy.
Well, that, and I don't know, there's something about moving every, 5 to 10 years somewhere different. It gives you some kind of, like a new experience.
Yeah,
it kind of refreshes you.
It does, and a new perspective on life too. Yeah, that's true.
And my wife has lived 20 years of her life in America too, so it's not like she's just from here, you know.
Yeah, sure.
So we both have the curse of living in two different Western worlds.
And you're probably going to move back now.
Only time will tell.
Yeah.
I don't know. But this Corona shit is so crazy, dude. What the hell? What to do?
Yeah, but the unemployment rate is super high in the U.S.
And it's going to be super high here too. See, the big difference with the unemployment there is too that it's so easy to hire people there.
Yeah.
So even if you're a small business owner, you can hire 2, 3 people. It's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
Here, if you hire one person, man, you better really, really be sure that you want that person. Because like you said, if that person sucks, man, you're stuck with that person.
Yeah. And you pay, whatever you're paying the guy's salary, you're going to pay him the same amount on top off on taxes and everything. So it's
you got to think if you're paying somebody, whatever their salary is, it's costing you double. Yeah. Because you're paying into the pension and all that stuff too. Yeah. And I mean, that can get really expensive too. Yeah. It's not.
I guess in the U.S. nobody cares about that minimal wage, huh? You get like $6 or something.
Well, it depends. I mean, then you got people paying under the table, which was where we go back to the cash part.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different, aspects of it. It's just the system works so totally different. It's
sure.
hard to compare that to anything else.
Sure.
So who knows?
Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I think so.
So how do we wrap it up?
I don't know. Is there anything you want to give a shout out to?
No, but do you need to do some stand-up comedy now?
I wish I could. You can't go anywhere. I would love to.
That's
I
funny.
have a bunch of material
That's funny,
that I wrote
Steven.
that I would like to put out there. But
Yeah.
kind of hard to do it in front of an audience, kind of like this one.
Yeah.
But
We should have some clapping in the show.
well, I have like a laugh track.
Yeah, we should have. We're gonna edit that in, and all the laughter you hear is real.
Yeah, we are working on the website and working on some
Check
merch.
out the
and stuff.
website is right here.
Yeah.
Website
We were supposed to do that after this podcast.
after this podcast. www.
What do you think we should make? I think we should do hats, shirts, stickers
Yeah, dildos
for you ladies out
for the
there
ladies
and you special gentlemen.
that find us handsome. No, yeah, merch is
I
important,
don't know.
right?
Yeah, I think we should do something. Some hats would be kind of cool.
Yeah, we could do some.
We
Fingers,
both like
the
hats.
fingers. You know,
Yeah.
no hats. Hats we like. We got to do hats. Hats is a must. Yeah.
We'll
True.
do it. So yeah, it's been good.
We do guns.
Yeah. Get your gasoline vibes gun.
Get your
it's a
gun.
gun and dildo.
It's a yeah. You can use it for
After you're done fucking yourself, you can blow your brains out.
yeah. Or your husband's or whatever. If he cheated on you, you can shoot him first, and then you can satisfy yourself.
Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean,
that's a good strategy plan.
yeah. But I appreciate you coming on.
Hey,
and
thanks,
doing
buddy.
it. Yeah.
Corona.
All right.
We have to
Corona.
stay away.
Yeah.
That was already
Corona times.
breaking the law.
Yeah.
No.
Probably get arrested for that. We'll cut that part out.
Yeah, I mean when we do like car segments, we always drive the speed limit.
Yeah. That's all. It's
it's-
digitally enhanced. So you can see.
Yeah. It looks faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's funny because we were watching the last episode and I forced my wife to watch all of them, which I'm pretty sure she almost committed suicide after we're done. But she's watching it. And I can, as we're watching it, I'm just want to make sure that everything looks all right. And then she's shaking her head the whole time. She's like, you know that the speed limit is. And I'm like, and first off, she's like, I've mixed all different kinds of stuff together. So sometimes the speed isn't even actually what it is, But
yeah.
she's giving me shit, and she wasn't even in the fucking car when we're
Yeah,
driving,
yeah. Oh, that's
giving me
bad.
shit about driving fast. Like that's a new level to backseat driving, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I have so many backseat drivers. Like
Ugh.
in my family, everybody's
terrible,
telling me to keep the speed limit, and
hate
I am the type who because most cop cameras they deduct anyways about 6.
Yeah,
So-
that's 3. I just got one.
Oh, you got okay.
Yeah.
So
$140.
you're usually pretty good with about 15 over. You're gonna get a ticket with 15 over, but
Yeah.
from 15 over you can still react fast enough. Like if you're speeding 40 over, the chance to get caught is so
Yeah.
much higher. So I usually and then the wife said, "Hey, you're over," and then by the time she says I'm over, I'm already like, "No, I'm good." So I'm like, "No, but you were just over." No, I wasn't.
Oops.
I wasn't. You didn't look right. And she always like it's a 60. I'm driving 80, and she says, "You've been driving 100." It's like, no, you see, I'm now at 70. No, you've been driving 100. I'm like, no. Okay, I was driving 80, not 100. No, 100. She's always like, she's always adding. It really pisses me off. Like,
Rounding up.
yeah, and I'm rounding down. So like, yeah.
The
so
truth is somewhere in the middle.
And when we were driving through Europe, and you know, like when you go through the Baltic states and you have a one lane and you're passing like trucks, I mean, she was just, you know, she was kind of biting the dashboard. And she's like, "You're gonna kill us all! You're gonna kill us all! We're gonna die!"
I'm gonna kill us all in just a fucking second.
And then the kids start screaming, "Dad, you're gonna kill us!" I'm like, "You see what you've done now? You see what you've done now?" And then I have to speed, just you know, to piss them off a little bit.
Shit.
No, I'm good. You know, these kind of conflicts that you have with a wife, and it's like,
Here's mine. I'm driving up north, like this a couple weeks ago, and before we leave, we always get into it when we're driving. So we get into it. She said, "Look, just drive the speed limit. Let's not, you know, let's just take it easy, go in there." I'm like, "All right, good." So we're on, I can't remember, E12 or whatever, or E4 or whatever, driving up north. And the speed limit is 120 kilometers. Yeah. I put it on 120. I got Waze on. You know, so that I know where the camera is. Yeah, the camera on, and my speedometer is a little bit off, so I got it on 120. Yeah. I put the cruise on. Yeah. Now at 120, the cameras aren't going to go off. Nothing's going to happen. Yeah. But in Waze, I don't know if you know this, but when it goes to 0.5 over, it turns red.
Red, yeah.
Yeah. So it's flashing between red and then 120. But it's not going 121 or 122. It's staying on 120. Yeah. And we're driving, and I'm just listening to the radio, just tootling along. No big fucking tootling. That sounds really old.
Tootling along.
So just driving, and then, you know, I'm just looking at the road and driving, and about 5-10 minutes ago, I noticed it's very quiet in the car. I turn over, look at my wife, and I can see, dude, immediately, you know, God damn it, we're going to get into it. I can already see it in her face, you know what I mean? And she's just fucking steaming over there. And I'm like, what is the fucking problem? We're driving 120. It's flashing red. But it's,
on Waze.
Yeah. I'm like, because it's fucking, you know, it's half. Yep, you just got a ticket. You're going to get another one. And before you know it, it blows, dude. The sunroof blows out of the fucking car, and we get into it. And, you know, everybody's fucking mad. I slow down to fucking 105, put the cruise on, and then I put my headphones on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just me and Joe Rogan driving down the road. You know? And I drive like that for 4 hours. I don't say shit to nobody. I just drive like that. Way under the speed limit. Fuck it, we'll get there 3 hours late. I don't care.
Yeah. I know that thing now too with the earphones. Like I have now a situation like this that the wife puts on the earphones, and then she's all happy, and that's the only time she's happy. And then the kids in the back come, "Dad, we want music." And then I put the music on, and then the wife gets pissed. "Oh, you cannot listen to music now and listen to the book." And I'm like, "Oh shit, but hey, wifey, we all want to listen to something. It cannot be just you." And then the daughter in the back screams too, "No, I want to hear music too. I have my earphones on." And you know, and then it starts, and it's just out of nowhere, you know. I'm just like, so. And then at the end of the day,
and then I'm just going to drive into a fucking tree.
I either put on...
And you're precious.
I either put on house music really, really loud that it pisses off everybody, or I say, "Now we listen to nothing."
Yeah, that's even worse.
Now we have
I take the stereo out and throw it out into the fucking road.
Yeah, and yeah. And usually, I do it the same as you. Either I don't usually slow down. I have the strategy that I usually speed up a little bit to just piss them off more, you know. Like, and then I go and it's like, was it? That was it, eh?
I think that was it.
All right. Hey, thanks.
Yeah, it was a really good time. Fun just to sit here and shoot the shit, especially under this lockdown. What the fuck else can you do?
Yeah,
you know?
True.
Kids started back school today. That was good.
That was great. Yes.
Very peaceful in the house now. I got a lot done.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and the wife went with the ladies to the mökki, so cabin. So that's good. So
soon it's going to be our turn to go out.
Oh yeah.
As soon as we
in
can
100 years
hit the club. If they open it back up again.
The club is hitting us.
I don't know if I could stay out past 12 o'clock.
No, and nowadays going out, I mean,
and drinking on top of that. Oh my God,
I feel out of place anywhere I go.
Oh, I told you the worst story. was my son turned 18, and I took him out to a club here in Helsinki, and I'm out. We're just chilling, and it was hard for me to find a place that he could get in at 18 because a lot of the clubs are like 20 or 21 or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
So I found one club. We go to the club, and I do not party that much. So I had been to this club like 10 years before when I lived here the first time.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I think I've been here before. So we get inside.
What was the name of the club? Do you remember?
Le Banc was the name of it.
Yeah.
This time. I don't know what it was before. But we go in, and I'm like, yeah, I think there's an upstairs smoking area, for my smoking days. And we go up. Sure enough, there's a smoking balcony and like a roof area where everybody's hanging out. This is cool. We go back down. Nice techno music playing. They got happy hour going. Drinks are like $4, which is fucking unheard of here.
Yeah.
So we're having a couple drinks and just hanging out, and he's checking out the place. And then I started looking around the place. Oh, yeah, there's some nice looking women and stuff. And then I started looking. Oh, wow, there's a lot of young women here. I started looking around. I am the fucking oldest person in the entire club. By far. The oldest motherfucker there.
Yeah.
And then I think immediately at that moment, I think back to my days in the club when you see the fucking old guy walking in the club, and you're like, who brought their fucking dad in here? And then I thought, Jesus Christ, I'm that guy. It was like the worst moment of my fucking life there.
Exactly.
It comes crashing back to you. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to do that to myself, bringing my kids.
I like going to. I will go to a
pretty
club.
Cool with my dad because I could go out with my dad.
Oh, I could too with my dad,
but not like
not when I was young. But
I know I could also when I was young. But, but yeah, but not clubbing. No, that wouldn't work.
Well, my dad wouldn't want a clubbing guy, anyways.
I mean, if I would go with my sons and we would go clubbing and they would see me dance, I mean, wouldn't it be embarrassing?
I don't know. Probably. You have to ask my kids, but I mean, I didn't go to. Luckily, I didn't do any dancing, especially after I saw that
with the young girls.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe I leave it to them. And nowadays,
you can't get it, dude.
You need to do Fortnite dances.
Like, what happened to some disco?
Yeah, what happened to disco? It's coming back. I swear it's come back.
Let me do the MC Hammer. Let me show you guys what's up.
The MC Hammer at the Running Man. I could still do it. Yes.
We're just getting older. I think we just have to face it.
Yeah, that's true.
But hey,
and that's a good cue to end it, right?
It's gonna go
because we got to go home to our kids.
We'll do it again.
Bring them to sleep.
We do.
Yeah, school tomorrow, so
we have the phones off.
Yeah.
So it's been nice. See, this is what I mean. Without the phones, get a nice little break.
Yeah, true.
Wives are probably sent us 12 fucking messages.
No, my wife is gone, but my kids need to go to bed. They send me. My son sent me a message before with a video. Evidence that I walked the dog. Yeah. So.
Well, cool, man. Thanks for doing it.
Cool. Thanks, bud.
Yeah. Well, more stuff to come. We'll do some more episodes of Gasoline Vibes. Hopefully, we get to some cars. I really want to do the Tesla with you. I think you.
All right. That sounds cool.
Because you're like a tech guy, and I think that's like.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to find, like, especially for the non-car guys, like, what car could I bring to you that you go, wow, this is fucking cool,
Yeah, maybe.
So
flying cars.
Yeah.
Well, they exist already, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. That would be cool.
I'm not that comfortable
cool
going
rush.
off of the ground, though.
Yeah. It's more like a giant drone, right?
Yeah, maybe. Those drones are so amazing. I got some for our new stuff coming up. It should be pretty cool. All right.
All right, buddy.
Peace out, guys.
Peace.
Yeah. Later.
Yep.
Yeah, that was good.
Good.
Thanks, bud. Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, we have to get into some. Yeah, fuck. We should be distancing ourselves.
I'm having fever.
If I die, you know it came from this.
Now there's a new symptom or something. Swollen feet in kids or something.
I don't know.
No taste.
Isn't that the guy that owns the building? I'm just
Ooh.
kidding. We're working on the.
Oh, sorry. That is not going on the tape.
It will, I promise.
It will
you.
not go.
We're working on.
It's flowers. What are we working
The perfect end.
on? Are we? That's a perfect end to the show. And it's done.